Hello, my name is Nicholas Cerrone, and today I'm going to be showing off my game I've created in the past 2 weeks. The game is One Man Band, a sort of bullet heaven. Well, that was the intent originally. Hopefully I can demonstrate where I was going with it. Um, the intent was to be a bullet heaven rhythm game, sort of auto mover type thing where your character would move to the music, um, and you'd get progressively stronger as you collect more instruments. So let's see the game. As you can see, we have a nice UI, um, and we can start with controller or keyboard. And once we start, we'll see the beats coming in. Everything is going to be nicely synced to the music, and we can hold the direction on the D-pad, arrow keys, WASD to move around. And the movement is all automatic here, so when I hold the direction on the beat, I'll move. If I don't hold the direction, I'll stay in place. So we have these enemies coming in, and we can attack. And we get this little exclamation point before they move into us. Let's see if we can get instrument to drop. Sometimes it takes a bit. You can see we have a score going up as we defeat more enemies. Oh, it's taking a little bit. We'll get one. It's being nice and slow today. There we go. So we got a bass. And we can see now we get some music playing. And when we defeat an enemy, we'll get some more points. My original intent was to have like there be projectiles and stuff that the enemies drop. But unfortunately, that was a bit out of scope for the amount of work I had time for. So you can see we got the keyboard coming in. And then once the enemies are defeated, they'll drop more instruments. And we got all three of the currently implemented instruments, a bass, a keyboard, and like a lead vocal track. If I had more time and perhaps a bit more capable of an engine, I think I would implement, multiple levels of audio tracks. So perhaps they would start simpler and then get more complex, and you could upgrade your instruments, and that's how the audio would progress. But simply beyond the scope of these 2 weeks that I had. But I'm pretty happy with the state of the game. I'll show one more thing, a bit of a juice demonstration that I was able to get in. So if we look, we can actually get damaged by the enemies in our top left, and we'll see a little jiggle happen. And everything's nicely synced to the music. We get a little sound effect. And yeah, eventually these guys will come overpower you, but it's basically just like an infinite bullet heaven with no bullets for now. Alright, now I'd like to show some of the changes I made to my engine during the development of this game. So first, we can check out our input API. I basically just added some simple controller support, the same type of things we have for mouse keys with buttons, and we can get a controller axis. We can see we just have a new map here for button aliases and axis alias. So we can get the triggers and the sticks. I really like having controller support because I think some games just feel a lot better on controllers, so it's nice to have the option. Next, I'd like to talk about the thing that I spent the most time on, which was redoing my audio manager. This was a interesting process. Last week I had a basic audio player that could play one audio stream, but then right after that I tried to start mixing my own audio, and then it was getting messy and the audio was sounding really bad. I kind of got discouraged, but then I discovered, I actually decided to look into how SDL Mixer itself implements audio mixing, and it turns out SDL just has, its own API for that, so, or kind of its own functionality. So with some a bit complicated merging of like audio streams, we can actually get pretty decent sounding audio mixing. So I was pretty proud of that, like kind of implementing my own audio mixer or version of SDL mixer. And yeah, it's just a very simple version, but for me it works well. Also, I've decided to redo the way text is rendered and UI is rendered specifically. I can just show text off right now. Basically, I'm just getting like a screen space version of the coordinates instead of a pixel uh, coordinate. It makes it way easier to develop, and we can just have the pivot um, halfway in the center of the text, in the center of the UI, so we don't have to deal with finding the top left of a UI and then offsetting it manually. This is just a lot easier to get things centered. Additionally, to get some nice camera easing in, I re-added the camera ease factor back in just so we can get some nice like slow movement. So like specifically for my game, so the like rapid player movements didn't like jerk the camera around. And finally, one of the big things I added was I took out all the helper files and decided to add in uh, my own like delta time system. So the engine no longer runs off of like frames to uh, convey how much time has passed. It is now fully delta time. So in my update loop, I'll just, get the current time, and at the end, we'll update delta time. And there's a problem that I figured out that physics isn't quite accurate when you use delta time with it. So it would need to go to its own fixed time step eventually, but my game didn't really utilize physics too much. It wasn't really a big deal. And I believe if physics is set to bullet, or if all the rigid bodies are set to bullet, it should actually be accurate. I could be wrong though. So yeah, um, this class has been so much fun. I had never thought I'd be able to have a UI like this created in my own game engine, and then a game that I've even struggled making in other game engines like Unity and Unreal. Have an engine capable of making something like this it's kind of amazing. Um, so I'm really very proud of what I've created, and yeah, thank you all for watching.